Okay, so we are starting on page 135, solving systems of linear equations by graphing. So 6.3. We're going to do a little review of yesterday too, just because I felt like there was a little bit of confusion. So we look here, and we're talking about SPI1 and SPI2 and this park bench. And what they want us to do is make two linear equations where they can exchange at this park bench. So I'm just going to draw a random line where SPI1 is going to be walking, and a random line where SPI2 is going to be walking. And I have to remember that they have to intersect the park bench at the exact same time. And the park bench is at 1, 3. And then I'm going to make the equations for these lines. So the blue line I have y equals, and my y-intercept is down here, so I know that's at -1. What's my slope? My slope is up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1. Oh, but how do I write that? I just write that as 4. Y equals 4x minus 1. What about my red line here? My red line, I have a negative graph, so I know it's going to be y equals negative something. Then I have my y-intercept up here at 4, so it's going to be negative something x plus 4. And my rise over run in this case is just up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I could just leave it as y equals negative x plus 4. Now, can I do something even more different? Yeah, I could do something where the SPI walks along right here. And remember, that's just at y equals 3. That's a horizontal line with no slope at y equals 3. Could I do something where they intersect the park bench going that way? Yeah. And remember, those vertical lines are at x. Where does it cross the x? Oh, at x equals 1. The SPIs could go all over, but main point is that we want to point out is that we are intersecting right here at 1, 3. And that's the name of the game today. We are solving using graphs. So here's our first graph on page 136. It says, what is the solution of the system represented by the graph? Well, all you have to figure out is where these lines cross. So where does this line, y equals x plus 1 and x plus y equals -3, where do they cross? So I start at my origin, I go over 2, that's -2, I go down 1, so that is at ordered pair, -2, comma, -1. That is the solution to this system. How many solutions are there here? How many solutions are there? This is what we talked about yesterday. This is one solution. So this is a one solution, meaning they cross one time. Okay, now we're going to come back to this page, so leave some space. You might want to draw a line under here, and we're going to come back to more on how to solve for y. But first, I want you to go ahead and try, in Miss Honor fashion, where these cross. So try it, pause, try it, and see if you can get it. And these cross right here at -1, -1. So this is one solution at -1. Is the solution. Okay, why is -1, -1? Because that's where these two lines cross. Pretty simple. Okay, now this red arrow means we're going to go back, and I want you to go down on this page, and we're going to split it up into 3 portions, and we're going to do some more notes on solving for y. Now remember, we heart y equals mx plus b. Again, we're on the bottom portion of page 136. So we want to solve for y. So I want to get y all by itself. And you had to do this a lot on last night's homework, and so we're just going to even do it more. So solve for y. Here, I'm going to subtract 6x from both sides. What do I have left? I have y equals -6x minus 5. Is this in y equals mx plus b? Yes, it is. And since we heart y equals mx plus b, we stop there. Now, what about this one? It's a little bit more difficult. We want to subtract 6x from both sides. And then we want to write out our equation, negative 6x minus 20. This is more like what you saw in your homework last night. And we see that our y is still not alone, so we have to divide everything by 20. Not by 20, by 4. So we get y equals, we got negative 6 and 4. Can that be simplified? Yes, it can. We get negative 3 over 2x. And then we have here negative 20 divided by 4, we get minus 5. Now, is this in y equals mx plus b? Yes, it is. Are these two equations going to cross? Yes, they are. They're going to cross. Now, if we wanted to, we could graph and we could see where they would cross, which we're going to end up doing tonight. These would cross one time. Why? Because they have different slopes. And we learned yesterday, different slopes equals one solution. They cross one time. Okay, now again, go ahead and pause the video and see if you can figure this one out. This is the last one for the page, so feel free to use the rest of this space. Okay, and as you can see here, our answers were y equals negative 2x plus 13, hope you got it, and y equals negative 2x plus 5. Now by inspection, yesterday we learned that if you have the same slope, what type of lines are these going to be? These are going to be parallel lines. They will never cross. Okay, let's get going. So on page 136, you have a graph. Okay, we're going to graph, instead of the ones that are giving you on page 137, I want you to cross those out and I want you to write these two equations. So first write this, second write this, and then we're going to go ahead and graph these on page 136. So it's a little confusing. So over here we're on page 137 and we're going to solve for y. So here we go. Minus 3x minus 3x. I get negative y equals negative 3x minus 1. Now we learned yesterday a bunch of times, what do we do when we have a negative y? If we make it positive, it means everything's positive. So our final answer is going to be y equals 3x plus 1. And over here, our second equation is a little bit easier. All we have to do is subtract x from both sides, and we get y equals negative x plus 5. So these are our two equations that we are going to go ahead and graph on page 136. So look over at page 136 and there's a graph there. And you're going to graph them. And we're going to tell where our solution is. Because we know these will cross one time because they have different slopes. So here we go. I'm going to graph this one in purple. So we have y equals 3x plus 1. So we have plus 1. That's where I start. I go up 3, 1, 2, 3 over 1. I can go down 3 over 1 if I wish. And I have my slope, my rise over run, and my line there. I'm going to graph this one in red. I have y equals negative x, so I go up to the plus 5 right here. And I know that I'm going to go down and to the right because it's a negative graph. Now, our answer to this isn't even any of our answers, so these take quite a few steps. Our answer to this is actually this ordered pair here. Your answers on today's homework are all going to be ordered pairs where the x comes first and then the y. So what is this answer? This answer is 1, 4. If you turn to page 138, please cross this out and write these two equations in. This is what I want you doing. This one here, you're just graphing regular old y equals mx plus b. This one here, you need to solve for y first. So notice that that y has a little guy next to it that you need to get rid of. So try it out, pause it, and then come back when you're done. Okay, and you should have gotten something that looks like this. We have our black graph graphed here, our red graph graphed here, and notice our answer is actually the ordered pair. So our answer is going to be 0, 1. Okay, now it's time to start your worksheet. Please note that on the front side you have these two that you can't really see. It'll make more sense when you have your worksheet. You can work on that or assignment 57, which is due tomorrow.